Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gbemi, and if this is your first time seeing any of my videos, I talk about myself. I talk about my life as a mom, my life as a PhD student. I talk about anything really that comes to my mind, and also kind of like a close-up view of what's happening in my life, the hobbies, the things I pick up on, like just things in general. So if this is your first time watching, please subscribe, and if this is your maybe second, third, fourth time watching the video, subscribe as well. And yeah, I'm glad to have you here. So today I'll be talking about my second pregnancy. So I had a son the first time, and then I had a daughter. So I'm just giving you like what happened with my second pregnancy. And if you want to watch something like a comparison between like the first one and the second one, and more like a deep dive to like how the whole medical system worked. So my husband and I had like a sit down. We talked about like my second pregnancy compared to my first and how the whole thing played out. So if you're interested in that kind of video, I'm going to link that video somewhere. So, but today I'll just be talking about, it's just going to be me today, just giving you like some other details that I missed out in the first video, and the uniqueness of my second pregnancy. So like I mentioned, it's my second pregnancy, but it was a girl this time. So I had a boy the first time, girl the second time. So I'm blessed. So it's, to be honest, there was not that much of a difference when it came to like pregnancy symptoms and everything. So, but how I found out I was pregnant, I was semi planning for it because I wanted a second child. So I told my husband like, okay, I really want a second child. I wanted a girl. I was hoping for a girl, and I got my girl, thank God. So, but I was like prior to me getting pregnant, I was like tracking my cycle because I was breastfeeding, so I didn't have my period until like I think it was 6 months after I had my son. So, and I had my period, and thankfully this time it was regular. Like I think this video is more like giving you like sending you to some history, because I had history with like PCOS. I had issues with like my periods, they were irregular. So I'll link the video so I don't talk too much. So, but with this second one, my periods had become regular. They were coming at the set time every month, and I was tracking them. I had an app to track them. So by the time I saw that I was late, I knew that I was pregnant. So there was really nothing dramatic about this second pregnancy compared to the first one. So I found out I was pregnant. Like obviously we're happy about it and everything. So the first point of call at that time, I was still breastfeeding my son. So the first thing that came to my mind was like, okay, now it's time to wean him. I think he was like 14, 15 months at that time. So I was like, okay, I didn't want to tandem nurse. Tandem nurse means like nursing two children at the same time. So I was like, okay, it's time for us to get him weaned, completely weaned from the breast milk. And he was already like eating solid and everything. So luckily for me, I was going to go out of town for a project. So it was the perfect time to get him weaned. So he was not going to be seeing me for like a week straight. And since he was already taking goat's milk, so he didn't really like need breast milk in that sense to survive. So I was like, okay, since I'm going out of town, let me wait till that time. So I went out of town, and then I stopped pumping. I think I pumped maybe once or twice when I was like really engorged, but I intentionally stopped pumping so I will stop producing milk. So by the time I came back, the first night it was like, okay, he wanted to pick up from where we stopped, like continue breastfeeding. I was like, no, shut it down. First night, second night. So by the third night, he was fine with it. And yeah, that was how I completely weaned him off of breast milk, because I was like, I didn't want to be breastfeeding and be pregnant. I was like, that was personal decision. I didn't just want that. So yeah, the first trimester, everything went, I think there was really nothing much to it. Things I didn't have any, no, even the first time I didn't have any like nausea, or I was not vomiting, I was not irritated. I think this time, so the first time I was having like strong sense of smell. This time it's not as strong as the first one. So maybe I don't know. I didn't have like that very strong smell aversions or something. It was just, I just knew I was pregnant, and like that was just about it. Second trimester, I started showing way earlier than before because, like your stomach muscles already have, there's this muscle memory, plus my stomach muscles were not fully closed. So I started showing, so like people could tell I was pregnant by like early second trimester. So, but the whole story, like the interesting parts, it's interesting now because like things like I'm past the whole pregnancy stage, so it's like it's an interesting story to tell now. But at the time, it was like, okay, it was just a lot of faith, a lot of faith facts and figures playing out. So I think, oh, so let me give you some background. So the first time I had my son, I was like going to an OBGYN. The second time around, because of my I didn't, it's not like I had a terrible experience with my OBGYN, but like during the delivery, I wanted a particular position. He did not want that. And so the second, I said to my husband that the second time around, I was going to use midwives instead of like a medical doctor, like an OBGYN. So, because usually midwives are known to be more accepting of like alternatives, accepting of like not like alternative birth preferences and birth, everything surrounding birth, like labor and delivery and everything. So I was like, okay, let me go with the midwives this time instead of going with an OBGYN. Plus, my OBGYN was already out of practice anyway. So I consulted the midwives. I was going for my appointment. So there was really nothing much in the first trimester until we got to the second trimester. That's where things started looking iffy. So like I felt maybe 20, I don't know, I think 24 weeks appointment or so, where you have to like where you do an ultrasound to see to measure like the gestation, no, like just to measure, just to see like the baby and just to take some measurements and everything. So they did the measurement, and then I was told that the baby was measuring small, 2 weeks small. So like I think I was 26 weeks and the baby was measuring 24 weeks. So there's this graph that you have where you see like your baby, like where your baby is at. So they measure like the head circumference, the waist circumference, and I think the limbs. So I was told that baby was measuring small. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I didn't see it as anything bad because my first son, I think at 30 something weeks pregnant, I was told that, oh, he was measuring big, and when he came out, it was small, so he was less than 6 pounds when I had him. So when they told me that she was measuring small, I was like, okay, I expect her to be small anyway because it looks like I don't like big babies, so it's fine. But then they asked me to come back. I think probably after 2 weeks or so, I went back and then they said, oh, she's still measuring small. I was like, yeah, I know, but it's fine to me. But they were like, they had to consult a doctor that specializes in those kinds of things. Okay, so they consulted the doctor. Then we had an appointment. The doctor was in a different town, so we had to do the appointment virtually. And that day, because I think my husband had something to do at work, in school, so he was in school, so I had to go for the appointment alone. This particular appointment, I went for it alone, and the doctor was telling me that, oh, usually when they have these cases, so I was diagnosed at the time with IUGR. IUGR is intrauterine growth restriction, meaning that something is restricting the growth of the fetus. That means the baby is not growing as they expect it to grow. But the thing is that my baby was growing. It's just that she was not as big as most American babies. And obviously, I'm not American. I'm Nigerian. So they don't have the data for like Nigerian babies, but they're comparing like my babies with American babies, like American children. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I think the first midwife I was going to was like, oh, she expects that usually like African babies measure small and everything. So she was not concerned, but the doctor was like, oh, we need to check this and check that. So they were like, okay, they don't know what was wrong. So usually they don't have a definite cause of this IUGR. But they have like a list of tests to carry out to like rule out some certain things. So they asked, they did a blood draw. I was like, you can draw my blood anyhow, like as much blood as you want, you can take it just to check. So they were checking for a certain virus. I don't remember the name of the virus they were looking for, but they checked and they said, and the test came out negative, which means that they don't have the virus, which means that the virus was not caused, there was no viral infection affecting the baby's growth. So that was ruled out. I think another thing they wanted to check my amniotic fluid to see if they could, I don't know, test for something. But I told them that no, I didn't want to do any form of intrauterine testing because I didn't just want them inserted because there's always a risk to every test, and when you are inserting like a needle into the like where the baby is to get the amniotic fluid, it's like there's a risk of puncturing the amniotic sac. I didn't just want anything that will directly affect the baby. I'm like, if it's me, you can take my blood, you can do whatever you like with me, but with my baby, let's just leave her out of it. So they were like, okay. But the doctor was like, okay, they want us to do like weekly ultrasounds to check the baby's growth. I said, I'm not comfortable with weekly ultrasounds. I can do every 3 weeks. I think that's about like maybe 28 weeks or so. I can do every 3 weeks and maybe do an NST. An NST is the non-stress test. So it's just to test like your womb activities, how the baby is faring, and just to like know what's going on inside the womb. So I'm like, okay, let's do that. Let's just do ultrasound every 3 weeks and then do NST when I'm not doing an ultrasound. So they're like, okay, it's fine. Let's do that. So that was like the plan we're working on. So I was going for the appointments, like I would do ultrasounds, do NSTs, and we're like, okay, everything is fine. She's measuring small, but it shows that she's growing. Okay, so that was fine. Until one of the appointments that they were saying that like she kind of fell off. So she was growing, that even though she was like measuring small, but she was still following the same growth, like the unexpected growth trajectory until she fell off. Like she was not measuring like tinier than she was supposed to measure. And then we were like, oh, that this is grounds for induction. And if you know me, I like unless it's medically necessary, I don't really like interventions, like medical interventions where you're just trying to force the baby out of their natural habitat. So I was like, okay, if you said the baby's measuring small, why not just leave the baby there for her to cook as long as she would like to? But they were like, okay, they think that because she's measuring small, there may be something going on that did not catch. That if we induce her and get her out of my belly, there's a better chance of her surviving outside. But the doctor specifically used a word that I did not really like, and he said the baby does not need to be. No, what did he say? What was the word? He said there's no point in the baby being in the womb past 36 weeks. I was like, okay, why? Why are we like forcing the baby out just to put her in the NICU, like the intensive care unit, and then feed her with like this, just be feeding her with things and just monitoring her like when she didn't need to, like there was no distress, there was nothing else for them to see that this baby is at risk for anything. It was just this IUGR baby measuring small. So I was like, so they were recommending me being in this 36 weeks. I turned it down and said no. 37 weeks, because at that time, like once you're past, I think 35 weeks, you have to go every week for medical appointments, for like prenatal appointments. So I was going every week at the time, and then like every week I go, I'm hearing, oh, something could be wrong. You could end up with a stillbirth. You could end up with this one. So it was kind of, no, you're trying to stay positive as much as possible, because like anything that messes up with your mental state is. So it was at that time. It was challenging because I'm trying to stay in faith. I'm definitely trusting God that everything will work out fine. And like you go every week and you're hearing, oh, something is going to happen, something bad is going to happen, and everything. So that one time I was like, okay, I'm done hearing this bad news. Let me take a break. So I told them that I was going to come back the following week, and then they will see me probably like 2 weeks after. And they're like, am I sure? I said, yeah, I just needed some time to not hear negative news and just build up my confidence, and stay like positive and everything. So they're like, okay, that's fine. So at some point we had to fire the doctor because we like the time my husband and I went there, we were not liking his language, we were not liking the way he delivered the news. So we're like, okay, I didn't want to see him anymore. I didn't want to keep hearing from him. So we kind of fired him. But at that time, because he's a specialty doctor, so we could not get the replacements like fast, and plus I was close to my due date already. So it was like, we're not conversing with him directly, but usually he still gives recommendation, and then the midwives come to deliver his recommendation to me. So so 36 weeks came. They're like, do I want to get induced? I said no. 37 weeks, they asked again. I said no, I am fine to wait. 38 weeks, I think it was at 38 weeks, yeah. So when I was 38 weeks pregnant, I fell down the stairs. It's funny because I was at a friend's house. I have a toddler, so I have an almost 2-year-old. So he was like trying to like climb up and down the stairs. So I went up the stairs to use the restroom. So he followed me. So I was trying. Then I was trying to get down the stairs, and then he was on the stairs. And because he had fallen before from a flight of stairs, that's my son. So I was trying to prevent him from falling down the stairs this time around, and then I slipped and fell down the stairs. So we both fell down the stairs together. But he was fine. I was fine. I did not land on my belly, thankfully. So I landed on my bum. But I was like, okay. I was waiting to see what was going to happen. But I did not feel any pain. I was not bleeding. I was not leaking fluid. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm fine. But to be safe, let's just go to the hospital and like get me checked out. So my husband took me to the hospital and they checked everything. They said the baby was fine. I was fine. But like we're asking me, I was already 38 weeks. They're asking me like, okay, do I just want to get induced and get the baby out at 38 weeks? I said no. But funny enough, because my son came, like he was born at 38 weeks and 6 days, so close to 39 weeks. They were like, okay, the baby is full term. The baby is actually considered full term at 37 weeks. They're like, she's full term, you can get her out, she'll be fine. But I was like, no, let me wait. Yeah, even though like I was physically feeling discomfort, like lots of the physical discomfort, but I was like, if this baby needs to stay longer to be fine, let her stay as much as she wants. So yeah, that was it. So 38 weeks, I fell down the stairs, did not get induced. 39 weeks, they kept asking. So at 39 weeks appointment, they were asking me that, what if I go past 40 weeks? So 40 weeks is like the ideal number of weeks to be pregnant. So usually they will calculate your due date based on like 40 weeks from the date of your last menstrual cycle. Like if you have been pregnant, you understand this thing. So at 40 weeks, they were asking me at 39 weeks, they're asking me like, okay, what if you go past 40 weeks? Like maybe for 1 week, for 2 weeks, like would you want to get induced then? I said no, let me wait it out. Let me just see like how far this baby would like to drag her pregnancy. So they're like, okay, let's just keep it moving. So thankfully I went into labor at 40 weeks precisely. And I had my baby the day after. So like 40 plus 1. 40 weeks and a day, that's when she finally came. I will talk about a separate video talking about like my whole labor process and delivery. I thankfully my doula gave me some notes about like my labor process. So even though I forgot some things, I might use her notes to remind myself. So, but yeah, like that was how my pregnancy went. There was there's some of the pregnancy symptoms that usually anytime people see me pregnant, they're like, oh, you don't seem like anything has changed. Usually my nose doesn't get big anyhow. So, and I don't get swollen. My feet are not swollen. Like anytime the nurses check, they're like, oh, no swelling at all. Like nothing swells up. My nose doesn't get big. My feet don't get big. Like nothing gets big except my belly. And so people are like, oh, you carry pregnancy so well and everything. Yeah, like if outside looking in, looks like everything is fine. But there are two things that I usually deal with when it comes to like me being pregnant, and not really about weight, and not even about this IUGR thing at this point. So, but like physically, I think as at 30, probably I would say 37 weeks or 37 weeks, I started having this rashes. Like my body was itching. My belly, like all over my belly, I was itching. My arms, my thighs were itching. Like I had to scratch it. And I was like, okay, what is this? I didn't know what it was. So I was like going online trying to check, and then I found out that it's called PUPPS rash, PUPPS rash. Let me see. I think I was just looking at it like what the PUPPS means. So PUPP means preteric urticarial papules and plaques of pregnancy. So it's just when like your body just itching and it looks like rashes. So like my arms were not covered in rash, but like my armpits, like here, my belly, my inner thighs, like I was scratching all over, scratching like a mad person. So but unfortunately, there's no cure for it. There's no, they don't know what causes it, and there's no cure for it. So they just tell you that, okay, like once the baby is out, everything kind of subsides. I'm like, so will I just keep scratching my body for God knows how long? So then I was watching different videos trying to see, okay, what is going to help. Then someone talked about aloe vera, and someone talked about like taking was it lemon juice? Yeah, it was lemon juice. Yeah. So that time I was like, okay, I got lemons. No, it was not lemon juice. What is it? Ginger. Yes, it was ginger. It was ginger. So I think it was ginger tea I was taking, and then I was putting like aloe, because I already had the aloe vera gel in the house. So I was like just putting aloe vera over my body. I would not say it helped, but when I had the baby, it all went away. So it could have helped, it may not have helped, but like once the baby got out, everything was fine. So, and the whole itching subsided. But usually they tell you that you can't really do anything about it, just wait it out. So you can try whatever you would like to try, but usually they say it doesn't help. But I'm happy to be wrong. I'm really happy to be wrong. In case it happens again, I just like it was crazy for me. Like scratching, like you have you have crow on your body. Yeah, so I had the PUPPS rash for a few weeks, and then it just went away on its own few days after the delivery. It was like towards the end of the pregnancy, it was actually like subsiding. So, and then it completely went away after I had the baby. And another thing I had is what they call pregnancy melasma. Looking at my face, I don't really get dark when I get pregnant, but this time I found that my neck was slightly darker. Probably it still is slightly darker than the rest of my body, like probably to before. Then my underarms was very dark. My belly, oh my god! I'll try to put a picture if I find it of the pregnant, like how my belly was just so dark. I was like, and it happened the first time, it happened with my first pregnancy, and then happened with this one. I'm like, okay, something needs to happen. Like, what is going on? That I was like checking, and obviously they will say it's normal, it happens. But I'm still on the journey to figure out how we can, or how I can avoid it next time if I do get pregnant again. So, but yeah, that was like, those were the two big things for me: the itching, the PUPPS pregnancy, sorry, the PUPPS rash, and also the melasma. And usually I have like normally you have like this dark line going down. It's not even that. Like almost all of my belly was dark, like black, pitch black kind of dark, not even like maybe a shade dark, just black. I'm like, what is all these things? I could not like I'm taking my clothes off outside anyway. So, but now it's getting like lighter. It's evening out. Now that the pregnancy, like I've had the baby, so like everything's going back to normal. But that time it was just like this is terrible. This is bad. So yeah, I think that's all the story. I'm trying to look at my notes to see if there's anything I have missed. So yeah, let's talk about cravings. So just like the first time, to be honest, I don't really have any crazy cravings and anything during pregnancies. It's just like I only crave what I cannot have. And craving things like, oh, moi 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 moi, like moi moi in the leaf. So I tried to make it one time with, because I could not get like the actual moi moi leaves, so I had to get banana leaves. That's just me just talking like a privileged person. So, but yeah, that was what I was craving. That's I really wanted to eat. So nothing out of the ordinary, to be honest. It was just like me wanting to eat something I missed from home. That's like back in Nigeria. That was just about it. Yeah, so I think the last time we could talk about is actually had like being pregnant with a toddler around. So the first time, I think I have a video somewhere. Probably I'll ask my brother-in-law my editor to help me include a clip. So I said, like after I had the first one, that I really like being pregnant, and to be honest, it hasn't changed. I really like being pregnant. I really like, weirdly enough, having like, I like the delivery after the fact. Like once I'm done with the whole thing, I really like the whole. I like the experience. I would say that, like of carrying a child and having the like birthing the child. I like that experience, and In a perfect world, I would like to have as many children as I can, because it gives me joy, to be honest, to be pregnant. It gives me joy to have a baby. Um, but when I had, like, when I was pregnant the second time with a toddler around that would not give me a breathing room, it was like he was trying to like get me to play with him, you know. He was already like walking and playing around at that time, and he wanted me to, you know, keep him engaged, keep him active and everything. So he would like to like maybe hug me or jump on me or hold me, and sometimes like your belly is in the way. It's like, okay, I really want to play with you, I really want to carry you, but I really can't, like, navigating this bump outside with you and your weight and everything. So it's kind of a struggle with having like him like that, and me having to chase him around, and like with my big belly, like towards the end of my pregnancy, you know, everything, you feel the weight of it like towards the end. And like first trimester, second trimester, it was fine. I could keep up with him. But like towards the end of second trimester to third trimester, it's like, okay, you need to give me a break. Like I'm not as active as you want me to be. That's like talking to my son. So I was asking my husband, like, oh, and also I was really getting tired, like towards the end, to be honest. I really wanted to sleep, and I was not feeling guilty about it this time, because I was like, okay, I know that when the baby gets here, I will not be able to sleep as much. So it's like, let me sleep all the sleep I can sleep now, so that I will not feel too bad. Even I'll feel bad, but I will not feel like too bad about it, like when the baby gets here. So it was just me trying to keep my son at arm's length so he doesn't like jump and land on my belly. And also trying to get as much sleep as I could during those last few weeks, because those last 2 weeks were rough. And yeah, so I think that's about it. To be honest, I don't really have like the craziest of pregnancy stories or birth stories, to be honest. But yeah, it's always an experience, and I'm always happy at the end of it. That's okay. Yeah, I feel fine. Things went well. I'm thankful with this whole. I'm going to put that video I mentioned about me and my husband. Like we actually went like a deep dive about the whole medical system and this IUGR thing, and how we were able to, because it was how we were able to like navigate the whole thing, because it was just like a play of, it was a game of faith. Like we just had to like hope that nothing wrong was actually going on, and everything worked out fine. I'm thankful. So the next video I'm going to probably, yes, my next video I'll be talking about my labor and delivery process, like stories, like how everything went. So catch you in the next video. Bye.